Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Convo presented by Leadership Indianapolis. I'm Ebony Chappelle, Manager of Programs and Communications, and I'm so happy to be with you again this week, highlighting another great leader in our city. Today, I am so honored to be talking with Yecenia Tostado, who is the Executive Director of Project Azul. Yecenia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Ebony, and thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Absolutely. Thank you again. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do with Project Azul.
I am currently the Executive Director of Project Azul. We are a new nonprofit. The organization was established in December of 2019, and then I joined the team as Executive Director in late January of 2020. We are a workforce development organization, and our mission is to provide individuals who are from underserved communities with the flexible training and financial assistance that they need to transition from unemployment or underemployment into full-time careers that offer higher wages, access to benefits, and a pathway to career advancement.
Excellent. And we will get into that a little bit later because right now that is such a big need that people have is learning how to navigate the career field with all of the other things that we're dealing with right now. I understand that you're a graduate of SKL, so I want to give you an opportunity to shout out your class and to talk to us a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, SKL 43, woo woo, the best SKL class. And my SKL experience was absolutely incredible. I had just a great cohort of colleagues that I went through the experience with. Of course, the Leadership Indianapolis team is absolutely wonderful. Our moderator, John Licklider, was incredible, just an absolutely amazing, humble person who's made such a tremendous impact here in Central Indiana and really like across the country. So my SKL experience, what I really value about the experience was the opportunity to dig in with folks that I wouldn't have necessarily had the opportunity to meet or to be so intentional with in the way that SKL provides. So absolutely love SKL. Certainly somebody who advocates for folks to apply for the opportunity to be part of a cohort and to keep applying even if you don't get accepted your first time.
Yeah, because it does take some people a number of opportunities to get in because it is so competitive and they really want to make sure that everything is well-rounded. But I'm so happy to hear that you had that experience. Going back to Project Azul, we talked earlier about just the need right now for people to have someone to help them navigate the career system and find themselves in a place where they are able to grow professionally, but also make a living wage to take care of themselves, and how important that is, especially for communities of color, because we are disproportionately impacted by, economic situations, not always able to get to where it is that we would like to be in our careers. So talk to us a little bit more about the initiatives that you're working on right now and how people can benefit.
Yeah, so Project Azul, the reason it's called Project Azul is because we're focused on the blue collar workers. So we're focused on individuals who want to take a different pathway rather than a traditional college education. So we partner with Vincennes University, their logistics training and education center, to provide individuals with opportunities to go through a training to prepare them for a career in the logistics or light manufacturing industry. We know that those are two in-demand fields here in Central Indiana, and our geographic scope is Central Indiana. So we have employer partners that we then, once folks successfully complete the trainings, and the trainings are short. That's something that I really want to emphasize. Our trainings are 2 to 5 days. So it's really reducing the barriers in terms of length of time that a person has to commit to completing a program successfully.
Yeah, because that is such a good point, and I just want to stick a pin in that right there, because a lot of times us as professionals, we just don't take into consideration the fact that everyone's life is not set up for them to be able to take significant time off of work. You're hourly wage workers. I was one for several years, never had the opportunity to be like, oh, I'm going to call off work for 2 days so I can go and do this program. Like, no, if I don't work, I'm not making money. And that is the case for a lot of people in our community.
Right, and we really try to eliminate that barrier of having to decide between going to a training to further your career or choosing to go to work. So we actually also provide folks who go to our training a stipend. So we pay them basically their hourly wage of about $12 an hour to participate in the training that they choose to go through. So like I said, they connect with us. They're partnered with our case manager, Maria, who's absolutely amazing. She's bilingual, so she's able to provide case management in Spanish or English. We connect them with a training program through Vincennes. And then once they successfully complete that training program, we basically skill market them to our employer partners to make sure that it's not just a training program, but that there's employment on the other end. We keep in touch with them during their first 90 days of employment just to track their satisfaction at their job, whether they need any additional support or are facing any additional barriers. And you know, if it's not a fit, if they're seeing just issues with either maybe the culture at the company or the shift is not reasonable based on, you know, other things going on in their life, we find another employer partner to match them with, because we do want secure employment to be kind of that end goal, but then also employment that offers an opportunity for career advancement. So we don't want them just to get to that, you know, next rung of the ladder. We want them to continue to advance.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that you had that encapsulated so well on your website with the ABC. So getting a job, then getting a better job, and then leading into a career. So I think that's great. Why is this so important for people that may not understand? Why do we need, you know, a Project Azul? Why do we need to be creating opportunities for our blue collar workers? Why is this so important?
So that's a great question. So we know that there's a lot of jobs in these light manufacturing logistics industries that go unfilled, and they go unfilled because folks don't have the appropriate training or they're not aware of the training programs. So it's easy to get into a warehouse and make, you know, $11, $12 an hour, but that's not a sustainable wage. If you're trying to raise a family, that's not, you know, I mean, even if you're not trying to raise a family, that's not a wage that you can go very far with.
Yeah.
So being able to step in and work with employers and say, hey, we know these jobs that are a little bit higher are going unfilled, and we can come in and help you provide a solution. And we work with employers in two ways. They can either identify folks who are in those entry-level jobs and help us point them towards our services and our support, or we work with community-based organizations to help individuals who are maybe looking for a career change or looking for something that's, you know, just a rung above. We had great success in 2019. So the program was operational out of the Morales Group in 2019, and the Morales family is actually who established this nonprofit. So they established the nonprofit, they fund the nonprofit right now, although I am looking for more funding partners so we can continue to grow our programs and support more folks. And in 2019, we saw that individuals who were employed before they went into the Project Azul training were making about $11 an hour on average. Once they went through our 2-day training, because we only offered the 2-day trainings in 2019, they were making an average of $14.50. So that's a $3.50 increase, which is tremendous, you know, for an hourly employee. In addition to that, they were in full-time jobs with access to benefits, so healthcare, PTO, things that maybe folks who are in, you know, office jobs take for granted.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that is an incredible response. What has the consensus been like now with this world that we're living in? I'm almost afraid to say the word because I feel like people are just kind of tired of talking about it. But in, you know, dealing with COVID-19, like what has the consensus been like now? And how have you had to adapt in any way to accommodate that? And what does that look like?
Yeah, so we have had to kind of adapt our services. We are still doing intakes. We had to suspend our trainings because our trainings are hands-on and they are in person, and we find that that is the most effective way to successfully prepare folks for the jobs that we're preparing them for. But we stay in contact communication with our training partner, Vincennes. We're continuing to do intakes and provide folks with immediate employment opportunities if they need it during this time. And then early on in the COVID-19 crisis, we found a unique way to add value in terms of helping to better inform the community. We were inspired by a virtual town hall series that we saw that the Recorder and the United Way were doing in person at their site to target specifically the African American community. And we saw that and we're like, this is amazing. You know, this is just great information that's going out in a practical way by organizations that the community, you know, knows and is connected with. So, you know, Project Azul, as I mentioned, is new. So we don't have that following yet. We don't have, you know, a huge following on social media or just in general. So I quickly texted a friend who works at La Plaza, my friend Mariana, and I said, hey, we got to do this, but we have to do it in Spanish because we know that that the Latino community, one of our main barriers is language and access to information in Spanish. So we quickly organized between La Plaza, the Indiana Latino Expo, and Project Azul, a set of 3 virtual town hall series in Spanish to really address that language barrier of information that was, you know, here locally in terms of information being accessible and available in Spanish. So that was one way that we quickly pivoted just to be agile and you know, provide service and value during this time, and also recognizing that we as Project Azul needed partners in that, especially if we wanted to reach the community.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like those are some of the keys to success right now, is being able to pivot quickly, to be nimble, and to also tap partners, you know, either new partners or people that you've partnered with before to do something really strong for the community. What do you feel like has prepared you to be able to be to show up in this moment for yourself and for your community?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So I think something that is really interesting about my professional pathway is I've always been in positions where I just kind of have to make things happen. There's not necessarily like a manual that has existed or some sort of skeleton. A lot of it is like building from the ground up and just saying, okay, what's our goal? What kinds of steps can we implement to reach that goal? And then who do we need to involve? Because I do think partnership is key to success. I don't think that you can do a whole lot, you know, running alone, but if you have others with you, then you can really start to move the needle on issues. So just that previous professional experience of just having to make things happen is really what served me well during this crisis.
That is great, and you are certainly making it happen. How do people find out more information about Project Azul?
Yeah, so we are on social media now. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So follow us, Project Azul, or you can go to our website, projectazul.org.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Yecenia, for making yourself available. I'm so excited to hear about all that is being done to serve our entire community. So kudos to you and the team for all that you're doing.
Thank you, Ebony. It's so great to see you.
Thank you. All right, you all take care. Thank you for tuning into the Convo, and you can check us out again next week where we'll be talking to someone else. All right, have a great one. Bye-bye.